Hi everyone, it's Ryan here from smartsportstrader.com. In today's video I want to talk about pre-match trading. Now, I've made a video about pre-match trading before and I've talked about using team information such as injuries and formation changes and when managers rest players in order to make a profit before a game starts. So pre-match trading involves either backing and then laying a team before the start of an event, or laying and then backing in the hopes that you're going to make a profit. So I did make a video about this maybe last year, possibly the year before, and one of the most recent comments was that this strategy doesn't really work anymore due to the fact that journalists, there are people that get kind of that team information before like you are able to react to it, and I do think that the markets do move a little bit quicker nowadays. So what I thought I'd do in this video is just go through a different example using more of a technical analysis, looking at some other factors, and then using these factors to try and make a profitable trade. So I've got an example on the Manchester City versus Chelsea game. So yeah, let's take a look. So I've just brought up the Manchester City versus Chelsea market. This is the day before the game was due to start, and I'd already had a £1,000 bet matched, laying Man City at 1.95, and then you can see that I put in another bet for £1,000 at 1.95. So I just wanted to show you the reasoning behind this trade, kind of why I like this angle. Okay, so if we look at the historical movement in odds since the market opened, you can see that Man City opened about 2.2 and then they moved all the way into 1.9 before they've come out now and settled at this 1.96, 1.97 range. So in a big market like this, it's a Champions League, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of liquidity. I don't expect there to be a massive amount of movement, but I wouldn't really expect City to go past 1.9, that would seem very short. However, I could see them going back above 2 and trending out towards that 2.1 range. So for me, putting a lay in at 1.95, there's just much more upside, as I think there's more room for it to drift than there is for it to shorten. So something else to factor into this trade was that the last two times Chelsea and Man City had played, and City were favourites for both games. Chelsea had won those games, and especially in the FA Cup, I watched this one live, the odds in play changed very drastically. So Manchester City were favourites in that game, and I think they were about 2.2, but after about 20 minutes of that game, they drifted all the way out to about 2.5, 2.6, and Chelsea came in. So there was a big change in those odds, so that should be something that's noted. And they did have some injuries in that game as well, but you know, you had two close games between the teams and Chelsea won both games, so that kind of, you know, gives some credence to the fact that perhaps Chelsea would have a tactical advantage and perhaps they would have a psychological advantage going into this game. And I think it would also just affect the market in that people might be wary of backing Man City and see that there might be some value on Chelsea. So that was a second factor. So something else I like to do when I'm doing more of a technical analysis for pre-match trading is look at how the rest of the market are pricing the game. And you've got an outlier here, as you can see, that Bet Hard are offering Manchester City at 2.0. So this could be some kind of boost. You can see that there's a 99% payout. But it also says to me that they think that Chelsea are the value side and that they're happier to take money on Manchester City than they are at Chelsea. So that's why they're offering the best price in the market. So that kind of gives me some additional information that suggests that Manchester City are going to drift. So something else that you can check when you're doing more of a technical analysis is the historical odds. So you can look at the odds last time these teams played. So Odds Portal are a site that allows you to do this. You can go on their archive and you can find the last few times they played. So if we look at Chelsea versus Man City here, this was in the FA Cup game, so this was played at a neutral venue. You can see that City were priced at 1.99 was the top odds on Asian odds, so they would have been about 2.4, 2.6 probably on Betfair. So that's higher than what they are now, but I do know that Man City did rest players in this game. But Chelsea did win this game, and like I said previously as well, in play the odds changed very quickly. So within like 20-25 minutes, Manchester City were out to like 2.4, 2.5. So there was a big drift. So you would kind of expect that, given that drift, you would see in this game, which is the Champions League final, it's also being played at a neutral venue. You'd also think that that would be accounted for. The fact that the price drifted quite heavily in play, you'd expect that they would be priced a little bit higher in the Champions League. So again, that just gave me some more information that City were probably more likely to drift than they were to shorten. Okay, so here we are in the morning of the Champions League, and you can see that the price on Man City has drifted. So as Bet Hard had put them at 2.0 the day before, we can see that actually Man City have drifted close to that 2.0 price, so that puts us in a good position as we laid it at 1.95 and that £2,000 was matched. So now I just put in some bets above 2.0 to try and take advantage of the increase in the increments. So you can see I'm trying to get out there 500 at 2.02 just in case it goes just above it. And then I also put another bet in at 2.08. Alright, so I returned to the market a few hours before the game's due to start, and you can see that the two bets we put up at 2.02 and 2.08 were matched, as Man City did drift up to about 2.1, but then they've come back in again. So we're left with £1,000 left, and I'm just going to try and exit this position by taking a back bet on City at 2.02, and then we'll secure a profit across all outcomes of around £77. Okay, so just to finish off, I'll just show you that the bet was matched at 2.02, and you can see that a profit of £77 was made from this trade. Alright, so I just wanted to break down that trade a bit more, as I kind of had to edit that video quite a lot and narrate over it, and I don't know how clear it was. So the first reason that I thought that was a good trade to make was they'd established their range. So like I said, in the Champions League market, there's a lot of liquidity, there's a lot of money, and you're not going to get a huge movement. However, I couldn't see City going below 1.9. You know, 1.9 seemed like really the lowest they could go to. So I put my lane at 1.95, but I didn't expect them to come in like 10 ticks. Like I really couldn't see City being 1.85. However, I could easily see City going out and being 2.06, which would be an 11 tick move the other way. So I'd established a range, and that was really important, as there was a much greater upside, because I could see City going above 2.1, which would be, you know, that would be a drift out by 15 ticks. However, like I said, I couldn't really see them going past 1.9, so that's only a shortening of 5 ticks. So that was the first reason the risk reward for that trade was really good. So just to recap on the other factors besides the odds range that I thought the Man City price could move in. The other thing was looking at the rest of the market. So I pointed out that Bet Hard were offering Man City at 2.0 when they were 1.97 to lay on Betfair, so they were giving an arbitrage bet, so I imagine they would have took quite a bit of money on that side. But that also suggested to me that, you know, it was more likely that Man City were going to drift than they were going to shorten in price. And then also add to the fact that you've got those past results as well, with, you know, with Chelsea winning the last 2 games, and when you looked at the historical odds in the FA Cup, and like I mentioned, you know, the fact that I'd watched that game and seen the odds move in play as well, I'd seen Manchester City drift in price, you know, quite rapidly in play. I thought that would also be a factor which would suggest that Man City were probably overbacked at that 1.95 price. So lastly, just to recap on exiting the trade, you can see that I put bets in at just above 2.0. That was to take advantage of the crossover point. So over 2.0 on Betfair, the increment's going 2, so it goes 2.02, 2.04, 2.06. Below that, it's in increments of 1, so 199, 198. So that was one of the reasons why I just put one bet at 2.02. That was to take advantage of that, and then you could see I put another one at 2.08, and then left 50% a mistake just till like 1 hour before the game, because I wanted to see if those odds really drifted. Like I say, I could have seen City going above 2.1, but they didn't. So I got matched at 2.02 and 2.08 before the odds came back into 2.0. So that was just the reasoning behind that, is that odds don't stay static all the time. They do kind of move out, but then they can also move in. So it was just to take advantage of any drift that happened. So yeah, I think I've covered all of that. Hopefully people can understand it, and that's just another way to look at pre-match trade in the football markets, not solely using like team information. Team information is the easiest way, but you can also try your hand at technical analysis and looking at kind of risk versus reward and putting yourself in the best positions possible. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, as that allows me to continue to make videos related to making money from sports betting and trading. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.